Hello, it's Monday night. Where's all my peoples? My groupies, where are you guys? I always have to give like 30 seconds before we start. Oh, look, Intuitive Medium Deborah Hanlon is live. Yes, I know that. I just got the memo. Throw my do. So who's here? So those of you who are just joining in, just type in where you're from. And if this is your first time tuning in, let me know that as well. And as everyone is gathering and jumping on, I just go over that I'm Deborah Hanlon. I'm a intuitive and my work is varied. And those of you who know, I connect with consciousness of people who have passed. But what's even more remarkable to me is actually more of my work that I'm doing now, which is really raising people who are still physically living to live a much more authentic, better, happier life, which includes being able to trust your own intuition and to develop a sense of um, inner spiritual morality. That is my biggest goal. So I'm seeing lots of people here jumping on, including my son from college. So hello, Jack. Um, I love when I see you on here. I don't know how long you stay here, but I like when you tune in. And those of you who are tuning in through Facebook, I always tell you this every week. I don't interact personally one-on-one with those of you who are tuning in from Facebook because I can only really watch one screen at a time. And the print over there is too small for me to read, and I'm not putting my glasses on. So if you have a question that you want to engage with me and talk about, you have to jump over to YouTube to do that. So it's really not complicated. And I'm not a tech person, and technology drives me crazy. So you go to YouTube, look up Intuitive Medium Deborah Hanlon. You can subscribe to my channel. You can click a bell icon to be notified every time I pop on there, and then you'll always be notified. I don't do a ton of videos, just right now, only once a week, which is now Monday nights at 8:30. So if you're worried about getting more like spam and more notifications and all that crap that I hate getting, don't worry about that because you're not going to get that from me. Once a week I go on. So you'll get a warning about a half hour before I go on to YouTube, just as a reminder. So what I do on Monday nights is I just get my opportunity to talk about whatever you guys want to ask an intuitive, which can vary. That could be about pretty much anything. I've been wondering if there's certain topics, and I put it out onto Facebook recently. I've asked, like, what topics do you want me to talk about? And you know what? I haven't even checked that post yet. I haven't even checked the responses because I've been working all weekend and have a ton of things that have been going on since I posted that. I think I posted it yesterday. Um, so yeah, I don't know what you guys want to talk about. I'll mention that tomorrow night, Tuesday night, I have a psychometry class beginning. And what psychometry is the ability to just feel information and energy from objects or photos. So for those who are already registered, I've already asked them to bring either a piece of jewelry or photo or some sort of object that's small enough to be portable that you want some information on what the energy feels like. But I'm going to teach people how to do this themselves and how to pick up on energy. So it's part of my intuitive development workshop series. I have part one and part two, but if you can't make part one, part two, I always try to make it where you don't have to attend part one for intuitive development. So you can just jump in at any time. So that's tomorrow night. I think it starts at 6:30 if I remember. All this stuff is on my website. So I should really check before I come on. But 6:30, I think, to 8:30. You can register online. So go to my calendar at deborahhanlon.com. Go to my calendar, click on tomorrow's date. You'll see it there, and then you can register. You could always email Michelle, which her email is right here. Look, I did that in the right place. Info@beingknowingdoing.com is Michelle's email for any questions about any of the classes coming up. And then this Friday night, I'm going to do a fundraiser for the Goodwill Fire Department in Newburgh. So if you always want to go to a gallery, but oftentimes I hold them midweek and you have to get up early the next morning, this week I'm having it on a Friday night. So all that is handled through Goodwill Fire Department. So again, you can go to my website, deborahhanlon.com, click on it, and all the information of how to make a reservation for that gallery will be there. And the Goodwill Fire Department itself handles all of that. So that should be a really good event and a fairly intimate environment too. So that's pretty good. What else do I have coming up? I have a lot. Meditation returns. I haven't done meditation in forever, it feels like. So October 27th will at 7 p.m. is meditation again. So write all that down on your calendars because I know it's important. So let me see who's on here. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Greg is very relieved this week that he's not having to be in the hot seat. I think it was hilarious last week. A lot of people had said to me that, oh my gosh, you're so giddy with him. You're so giddy like a teenager in love. And I need to address that comment right now because not just one person said it, about like 10 people said it. And I was like going to throw up from it. So let's backtrack a little bit. No, I was not giddy like a teenager in love. I do kind of like him a lot. I'm fond of him deeply. But what you witnessed last week was my sheer and utter joy and inner hilarium about how uptight and nervous he was. And I know that sounds terrible. And I guess a part of me agrees that that's terrible. But Greg was so tight. I didn't think he was breathing the whole time. So I found that to be hilarious. So it wasn't like a giddy, ooh, you're so cute. It was like, oh my God, who is this man sitting next to me? Because he is outspoken. He is direct. He says it like it is. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. And he's the person that says what everybody wants to be said, but no one wants to say it because it's kind of like possibly inappropriate. And I don't mean like dirty inappropriate. He's not like that. It's like he'll call people out on their shit just like you want to be someone to be called out, but he'll actually do it and say it like in front of everybody. So it makes everyone like silently like really happy that someone spoke up, but at the same time it's also like you shudder because you're like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing that someone just like literally just stated like what everyone's thinking. So it's kind of like if someone's an alcoholic and they're acting like they're not an alcoholic, Greg will be like, no, you're totally an alcoholic. Like, what's the surprise here? Why are we all pretending that you're not? Like, whatever, but you're an alcoholic. So, like, he's that guy that totally shoots from the hip, and he wasn't shooting from the hip last week. So I thought that was hilarious. So let me address that giddy teenager in love crap, because that's not what that was. I promise you. Oh my gosh, Goodwill only has 13 tickets left. Thank you, Jamie. Hey, girl. So 13, that's good news, Jamie. I'm so excited to hear that. So if you want to come out on a Friday night for the Firehouse, they only have 13 left. So that's fantastic. Jack Vaccaro is asking an intuitive question. Should I stay in pre-med or go to a lawyer? Intuitive question. Jack Harrison Vaccaro, my son. My little baby, first baby boy, one of my little cave boys. I'm not doing intuitive questions tonight, but I will for you, young man, because you have an in with Deborah, and that would be that you are one of the 4 biggest lights of my life. You could succeed at anything you do, Jack. Anything you put your mind to, you can do. You're super bright, and it's stressful first semester. Your pre-med classes, bio, all that stuff is torturous in your first year of college. When I saw that your schedule, what it had, I was a little sick for you. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to say anything to him because let's see how this goes. So you could do anything, Jack, and succeed. You just have to keep focusing on day by day. That's what you do. So you would make an amazing lawyer because you have the uncanny ability to fight like hell for justice. And you would make an amazing doctor, chiropractor, because you've enjoyed that for so long. So whatever you do, you will turn out right. Plus, 50% of your DNA is me. So you're freaking brilliant. So you'll be fine. I had to put that. Susan, I was not giddy. I was not giddy. I was giddy with hilarium over this man who morphed into like this. Ooh. Whatever this is. He was so tight and it was really hilarious. See, Cindy agrees. He was truly uptight. Cindy knows Greg quite well. And Cindy, right, he was not himself. He's whatever. Jack is even saying he is loud as hell. He is loud. So, Greg, you said this show could be called Giddy with Greg. Only if you come down. You're going to have to come on down and entertain everybody. So, oh my God, let's see. Who's here? Don't forget, for those of you who are tuning in, just let me know where you're tuning in from. I always like to see where in the world you all are. I am not in denial, Susan. Oh my God, she's saying I'm in denial. I like him. I like him a lot. I'm rather fond of him. I like his his ways, even his like road rage and aggravating ways I like. But no, it wasn't Giddy, I'm telling you. Um, okay, let's see. So type in where you're from. Hey Renee, how are you? I see you there. Uh Cindy knows every hair on Greg's head because Cindy comes to cut our hair. In fact, today Cindy cut my hair. So you guys and colored it, which let me just tell you, Cindy even agrees. My hair looks so much darker here on this YouTube thing than it is in real person. In real person? In real life. In person, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's dark. My hair is dark, obviously, but this looks like it's really dark, and it's not as dark as this. Cindy agrees. But Cindy cut some bangs for me today. I went out on a limb. I've been working on over a year of trying to grow my hair out all one length, and once I achieved that goal last week, I decided it was time to get some bangs back. So I got bangs. And I'm easing my way into a haircut because I like my length. But anyway, that's my Cindy. So let me go to your questions. So tonight are generalized questions about not specific intuitive questions. Let's put it that way. So they're more generalized. Although you never know. I had a really good day. I got some good news later in the day today. So I'm kind of feeling good. Not kind of feeling good. I'm feeling really good, actually. Sunnyside Queens. Hello, Kathleen. That's very cool. Okay. So Diane. So to summarize. Wait, did I miss? We pick our parents and we're born and when, but not how we die. And some people are in our lives that have been in our previous lives, but some things that we do are our choice. Yes. Yes. Okay. Got it. So you're talking about how we often talk about how children pick their parents. Don't forget to give me thumbs up, guys, too, because that's really good with the YouTube algorithm of something. So I say it every week because Greg always tells me to tell you guys to click thumbs up. So it's good for some sort of algorithm. I don't know, to be quite honest. This isn't my brain. The technical world is not my brain. So Diane is talking about souls choose their parents because your parents are giving you exactly the lessons and the life experiences, if you will, that you as a little soul choose when you come in. And I used to do a class and it was called Why Am I Here? And sometimes people say, like, I don't understand what my lessons are. What am I here to learn? And I always say, look to your parents or whoever raised you. So your parent could be your grandmother if she's the one who raised you. And notice all the positive and all the quote a negative, the perceived positive and negatives of your parents, and note themes, things that keep coming up. And at first glance, within 10 minutes of this class, you start to get a sense of, oh my gosh, I'm here to either overcome something, I'm here to learn something, I'm here to do something, put something into action, I'm here to receive. Maybe it's a lesson in lack. Maybe it's a lesson in stability. Maybe, well, who knows? There's a bazillion different lessons. So your parents are the perfect energies to give you those life lessons or life experiences. What we have a choice of is how we are then to receive those lessons. And I'm very, very intrigued with psychology, as all of you know, with the notion in psychotherapy that and I hope you guys have heard this. If not, I feel like everybody should know this, but we tend to grow up with conditioning, with one set of rules or one particular way of things to do. And this is all in my book, by the way. And we learn that those ways are either right or wrong. At first, we think they're right because that's the way we're taught. And then as we get older, we start to look back and we kind of see the things that we didn't like as kids. And we usually tend to do them differently as we get older, sometimes the opposite. So if your parents spoiled you so much, sometimes we'll say, "Oh, you know what? That really wasn't good for me." And we tend to not then spoil our kids when we raise them. So this is conditioning. This is how human behavior works. Now, in psychology, they often say that when we grow up and we find a partner, we tend to marry one parent and we become the other. This is all in the unconscious. And this isn't like psychic, like woo woo, creepy, like airy fairy stuff. This is like in psychology textbooks. This is studied human behavior. And so you marry one parent, one archetype of parent, you become the other. So if you notice, if you're a very strong figure and you speak up and you say exactly how you feel and you're very kind of like open and maybe even aggressive, and say your father was that same way, you look towards your mom's attributes. And if your mom was quieter and more passive and didn't have any control and didn't want to, either raise the family, or they wanted to just raise the family, didn't want to make money and take charge, they just kind of wanted to be more passive. If you're the aggressive one, you're like your dad, and then you typically will marry your your mom, so to speak. So I find this to be fascinating. It was definitely true in my early life. And the trick is to choose otherwise. Bring all that old unconscious conditioning up to the present day, to conscious conditioning. And we say, well, wait a minute. Did that work? Do we like that? Is that really what we like? Versus just going with what we know. Because eventually, human behavior, we just do what we've been taught until we're shown something else. In my book, I mentioned pretty early on that if you're raised in an all vegetarian family and then you go to a friend's house and they eat meat, that's gonna rock your world, because you didn't know that people ate meat because you were raised in a vegetarian family. So think of all these things that, as you grew up, things that were just a given, that was the known, that was the way it was for you. And then as you get older, things go, oh my gosh, it doesn't have to be that way, or wow, or it could be that way. So I find this fascinating. It's a long answer to this question, but I think it's really important because this is the work I love the most. Because if we start to realize our soul comes in with lessons, and we want to get those lessons, we want to have those experiences, but we want to experience them in the positive, meaning with consciousness, with awareness, instead of being like victim mentality and, oh, life happens to me, which we all could have. We could fall into that mindset, but it's not helpful. I promise you, a victim mentality never moves forward. They just keep finding a new host to attach to, who will take care of them. So it's not an empowering, good feeling, growth provoking personality. So yes, we have these kind of experiences that our soul or our consciousness, whatever you want to call it, spirit, energy, comes in to learn. But part of that learning process is how to be your own individual, what feels best for you, and move forward from there. So we do have choice. We still do have choice. And I'm constantly astounded at the power of the mind. I know this much, and I feel like I know a lot, but I know this much as far as like the Dr. Joe Dispenzas and Dr. Deepak Chopra and the Wayne Dyers and anyone in New Thought, Ernest Holmes from almost 100 years ago. So there are people who really recognize the power of the human mind, the way we think. What we think about is what we manifest. And sometimes we can say, no, that's not true. And in cases, especially with deaths of children, that doesn't make sense. It's not like you thought about it and therefore it happened. Those events factor more into going back to that soul spirit, the experiences you're here for, than the power of your thought. So if someone dies, it's not because you kept thinking that they're going to, or worrying that they're going to. Those are apples and oranges. But the point is to gain a sense of loving to live because you like who you are. That's really the name of the game. And to me, the older I get, the more I realize I just want to like who I am. I want to be a good, decent person. I'm not going to be a pushover. I'm not going to do things that I don't want to do just because I feel bad for someone else. I have a lot of, I want to say control, but I don't mean it in a way of like controlling, that I'm controlling. It's more of I can set my sails, my own sails. And if I fail in life, that's on me. And I'm 100% accountable and willing to be accountable for that. Even when I get knocked down 10 times, I will get up the 11th time. And that's what I have choice over. And the power of the mind is all part of that. So it's a really, really long answer, but I think it's a super important question to address, because that is largely what my work is changing and evolving into. So yeah, people go, oh yeah, she talks to dead people. And that's like not it. That's just not it at all. What I really do is, or what I really love to do is turn the lights on for people to start seeing themselves in a way that they love. Because the more people that do that, the more stable people we have on the planet, and the more people are happy and creating pockets of normalcy, of decency, of morality, of awareness that sometimes, you know what, we all do mess up. We all do. But can you own it? Can you be accountable? These are the things I'm talking about. And um, Susan is asking, when's the next energy transformation part one? Susan just took that class with me. It is by far my favorite workshop to do. We just ended it this weekend, and it is always so sad to end the 6 weeks process because you just get so bonded with these people. The next one will most likely be in the spring, where we won't have any weather related issues, because I don't want the class to be interrupted by weather. So I would say March, April, somewhere in there. But part two, for those of you who already took ETA, Energy Transformation Awareness, part one, part two is happening the first weekend in November. It's never been taught before. It's a whole class about mirroring. But for me, you have to take ETA 1 to take the mirroring class, because it makes more sense that way. So let's see. Patty is asking, do I have a lot of experiences like the one I did when I heard from Morrow? So Patty, first of all, thank you for asking that question, because that proves that you read my book and you remember. That particular story was one of the, well, because it was early on too, when I was just discovering this whole ability and this connectedness that I had to just consciousness and thoughts and energy. That was probably the most unbelievable experience to myself at that time. But I have had thousands of those since. And I think I'd have to think back when that started. I probably wrote it in the book and now I'm not remembering, but it was just that woman. That was my first house party that she came to. So ironically enough, I contacted his wife just this week because of another really, 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 really weird scenario that I'm not going to mention here, only because I'm sure she would let me, but I didn't ask if I could talk about it. So next week, if everyone reminds me, I'll ask her if it's okay if I bring up what happened this past week involving Morrow's wife, who is a dear friend of mine at this point. So I have lots of experiences like that. A lot of people want me to write that book. And I feel like, yeah, it would be an interesting book for sure, but I don't know if I'd be as interested in writing that as I am in helping the living today with their living, with moving forward, with feeling better, with getting your finances under control, with feeling better about your weight or physique, or just feeling better all along about who you are, your relationships, your jobs, your careers. We're all so stuck in one way or another, and a lot of times nobody wants to be open and talk about it, because our social media world is filling us with all this, like, oh my God, everything's so great for everyone else. And we're not getting connected anymore. We're not going deep. We're feeling worse. I see more people in my office that don't want readings from the other side. They just want insight sessions with me, where we sit down and we go over, like, why does this keep happening? Why do I keep choosing the wrong partner? Why do I, keep messing up my finances? I like those. It's the life coaching stuff that I'm loving so much, so much. So I have so many of those stories, Patty. I told one about this one always comes up. Um Lil Thomas in Rockland County. I talk about that one a lot. It was on a past show. I mean, it's literally like almost every day, to be honest. But the earlier ones are easier to recall because now they're happening so much more often that it's hard for me to even like recall. But the one Thomas was one of my favorites. That one with Moro was one of my favorites. Walking into the bathroom, I wrote all of this in my book. Walking into the bathroom to see that girl who just came back from maternity leave and she was crying in the bathroom, and um, I could hear her grandmother telling me stuff, and then I gave a message to her. That was unreal. So there's so many. And if you don't have my book, you should get In the Presence of Proof, because actually you really should get it because my book club is starting November 10th in Newburgh, and there is limited seating available for that because it's in a restaurant slash bookstore near my center in Newburgh. So make sure you jump on that because I'm really going to be excited to be able to finally talk about my stories and answer your questions that pertain directly to the book. Okay. Let's see. Melanie is asking, where did I put my water? Hold on. One moment, please. I had water here. Here it is. It's behind me. This is such a big, giant water bottle with lemon in it, or lime. Okay, Melanie says, when you see some people's name, you often say you've been on my mind or I've been thinking of you. Do you have a sense of people struggling or that they have something going on? Sometimes it's that, for sure. Sometimes what I do think it is that someone, say I said that to you, Melanie. Oh my gosh, you've been on my mind. Sometimes I do think that you might be having a hard time in thinking of me, and therefore I picked up on that thought. So like you popped into my head, but you kind of put yourself there by thinking of me, if that makes sense. So in other words, if I'm thinking of someone, an old friend out in California, and I keep thinking about them all day long, and then 5 hours later they call me, and I go, oh my God, that's so weird. I was just thinking of you today. I put myself in their energy field and I made them think of me. Or sometimes you just don't know which is which. It's funny because tonight when I said hello to Renee, Renee was on my mind all day today, like all day, Renee. So maybe it's also because she thought of me earlier today and was like, ooh, I want to watch Deb tonight. Or maybe there's something more going on with Renee's life and she popped in because I got the signal. I don't know. It's hard to say. And it is weird though, because I do meet so many people. So it is kind of cool for me when I think of someone and then they pop up. Uh, Sometimes it happens where I think of somebody and I haven't seen them in years, and then they're in the session the next day. And I never check my calendar, like who's coming in, until the morning I go into work. So I look like, oh, who's coming in today? And I'm like, oh my God, that's so weird. I was just thinking of them yesterday. So that kind of cool stuff pops up. I think that's also, let me just say this too. I think that happens to everybody on the planet. It's not just like, ooh, Deborah's so freaking cool and psychic. It's not that. I don't need those accolades. I'm just a little bit more in tuned to those thoughts that come through. So I'm trained to pay attention when something pops into my head out of the blue. That's what intuition is. I call them my BLTs, my big long thoughts. And I'll have a big long thought, and then all of a sudden it'll pertain to my first session of the day, or I'll have a big long thought and it's pertaining to a gallery I'll have later that week. So I just pay attention to them more. So we're all doing it. We're all having it. It's just, are you paying attention to it? Okay. Ooh, I'm so thirsty tonight. I'm sorry. You guys are going to hear me like slurping all night long. Okay, Jamie, I love this question because we just started this. When you're in a situation that makes your present moment feel like it's not your safe place, what do you do? So let me do a little backup on this before I answer the question. And Facebook people, don't forget that I only answer questions for those of you tuning in through YouTube. So if you do have a question you want to ask me, make sure you come on to the YouTube channel. So let's see. When you're in a situation that makes your present feel like it's not your safe place, what do you do? In the energy transformation class and in meditation and in all classes about meditation and getting present, we talk about using the breath in every moment to stay right in this moment. Now, we hear the term get present all the time. And I really always know that people still don't know what that means, what it really means. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I'm present, I'm here. But what it means is all of your attention is placed on this moment because you could be listening to me right now, but still thinking about something that happened earlier today or a little bit worried about something tomorrow. You might be thinking about an argument you had 4 weeks ago. You might be on your phone looking up other stuff while I'm talking. We're often not present. And the best way to get present, literally what that means is this moment right now as you hear my voice is the only real moment in your life because it's happening right now. And the best way to connect with the present is through your breath. In yoga, they use pranayama techniques, which are phenomenal. Everyone should learn. Just Google pranayama. And they bring your attention, your mind, your body, and spirit to this place right now, which is the only place that exists. So for those people who feel anxious often or suffer from anxiety or go off into a panic attack, what is happening in the brain is that you are not in this moment. You are either thinking about, stewing about, upset about a situation that happened in the past or didn't happen, or thinking about someone who passed, or you're in the past and you can't change it. What has happened cannot be reversed. It's already happened. So when humans think about the past and we're like, oh my God, I wish I did this, or I should have done that, or why did they do this, or I messed up that, you all know, you all have this daily. We all do. I do too. Uh, that's all in the past. Or when we're having anxiety or being upset or kind of out of body, we're worried about what may or may not happen in the future. So our brain is thinking about what might happen, what could happen. If this had happened in the past, then this would be happening. What if I lose my job? What if this happens? What if I blah, blah, blah? And you're in the future. In both circumstances, you have zero control. The only control you have over is this very second, literally this second. Every word you hear from my mouth to your ears is this second, this moment. And this moment is only the safe place because this is the predictable moment. We know exactly what's happening in this moment. Now, that's the backstory to your question. What if you're present when you're in a situation that your present is not your safe place? When you are present and not in a safe place, you can absolutely appropriately respond to whatever unsafety you're in that moment. So what happens in, again, psychology and neurology and the way the brain is worked, that when we experience a traumatic experience, very often we jump out and we just go into I call it go mode. It's just automatic pilot. And your body later, when it's recalling the trauma, can't really find and remember everything, but knows there was trauma. So it is going back to a past event that's unpredictable, which is causing panic and anxiety, also known as PTSD. Now, I understand this is not the full definition of PTSD. There's a huge set of criteria that go along with PTSD. But when we are unsafe in one moment, when we're present, we'll know how to respond, even if it's traumatic. So I often use the example, if a lot of times in life, people say, oh, I just wish I had processed all my stuff earlier in my life because I'd be so much further ahead in my life. And I'd say to you, when you're in the middle of trauma, whether it's emotional trauma or financial trauma, uh, physical trauma, mental trauma, that's like being thrown overboard in a rocky sea and you are drowning. And the only thing you can think about when you're in the sea drowning is getting a life vest, getting to the shore, getting back to the boat, getting help. That's all you're not going to go, gosh, I'm drowning. I can't wait to process all this stuff later. This is so traumatic. No one does that. No one will ever do that. So when you're in a traumatic experience or of extraordinarily stressful experience, you are handling that experience. And it's only until we get to shore or back to the boat or life vest or someone saves you that you can then rest, catch up with the trauma, and then process the event and then know how to move forward. So, again, coming back to present moment is all about this is the only moment that matters. And the moment you start panicking, and if you are safe, remember, wait, all is well right now. All is well. Everything is okay. This moment is this moment. Breathe. Find the present moment through your breath, which at the end of tonight, we'll do a pranayama exercise so that we can all experience the intensity of the present moment. And here's the thing that makes me, this is why I want to do my work. People don't know this stuff. We need training in all of this. We need to know that as messed up as we all are, as all crazy as we are because of whatever happened in the past or whatever we're worried about in the future, one, we're all the same. We're all going through something, every single one of us. Even the one who's like posting, oh, I've got margaritas on the beach and I'm on vacation 24/7. Whoever they are, 24/7, having a great time. Even they have problems. No relationship is perfect. No home life is perfect. No financial situation is perfect. Nobody thinks that. We all just think, oh my God, I'm messing up on everything. I'm a terrible parent. I'm a terrible this. I'm a terrible worker. I don't like my job. We all have a lot. What I want us to see is stop with the external stuff. Stop with all of that other stuff and go inward. Go to this place within ourselves, one that is exactly the same within me as in all of you tuning in. And there's safety, there's sacredness, there's groundedness, there's rootedness. Sometimes the present moment can be negative. You can be present and be conscious about being sad over a loss of somebody, but do it with presence. Give yourself, allow it. I always say permission to be. Give yourself permission to be really sad and grieving. Give yourself permission to be really angry at something injustice happening in your life. Give yourself time to feel whatever feeling is really, really present in you in that moment. That's presence. So even though you might be thinking about something in the past, as long as you're aware that in this moment, your thinking, your present is thinking of the past, that's different than unconsciously having these floods of thoughts going on. So that is how you make your present safe. The present always is safe, except if you're drowning in the ocean. No, you're not safe. Your presence then needs to be had too, so you can have presence of mind of what to do to get out of that safety. So unsafety. So does that make sense? That's a long answer, but it's really important because I want people to love living. I want people to make better choices that feel right for them. I want people to feel empowered. I want people to realize they're a lot brighter than they thought and a lot more powerful than they thought. And I don't mean powerful ever in the term of powerful, like I'll make you do what I want. I mean personal power. Like you all have a lot of power in you. And we just get stuck because we don't know how to get out of our old conditioning. So once we start learning about our old conditioning, that's when we can start changing it. So, and that's funny because the next question after your question, Jamie, is from Carolyn. That's basically asking the exact same question, which I didn't see until right now. So Carolyn's asking, what's the best way to be in the moment rather than thinking about the past or moving in the future? Exercises to do this. So, and she's reading my book. Breathing, breath work. Close your eyes, meditate, notice the thoughts that go through your head instantly, kind of like catch them and come back to your breath. There's nothing in this moment but this breath. Hear the air going in through your nose and out your mouth. Feel that air going in through your nostrils, filling your lungs and abdomen, and exhaling and feel it go out. So create the moment. We'll do some breathing later for sure. And it dramatically makes you feel better. Dramatically. So it's a great question because we all need that. It's how we can stay calm, all of us. Serena, am I able to do past life regressions? Technically, could I do them? Yes. Would I do them? No. Why? Because I have way more respect for a true professional past life regressionist who really, really studies and knows their work. I am not that. And I believe that past life regression work is a modality of therapy. I don't particularly like when people say, oh, I took a workshop one weekend and now I'm a certified regressionist. And I know that makes me sound like an asshole and a little snobby, but past life regression is extraordinarily powerful tool for therapeutic purposes if needed, because we have weird things that happen in our lives. We have weird phobias that don't even attribute to the mindset of this lifetime, or past life regression can unlock stuff that even happened within this lifetime. But I don't think it is fun. I should say, I don't think it's a fun parlor trick type thing. It is fun. It's very revealing. It's super exciting to really go deep. But it really, truly, it can be used as a powerful therapeutic tool, which I leave to the certified, or that not even, it's not a certified, it's a oh my god, credentialed past life regressionist. You all know I always recommend Carol Bowman in Philadelphia. She used to come to my center when her mom lived in Cornwall, New York. She was nearby often, but her mom has since passed, so she is in Philadelphia. Highly recommend her. She doesn't take everybody. She really kind of gives a little interview to see if you're a good candidate for her therapy. But I always say it's like a lifetime of therapy in an hour. So Carol Bowman is always my reference for that. And if you can't, like, if you live in Arizona and you can't get to Philadelphia, you could ask her, reach out to her to see who she would recommend in your area if there is somebody, because she's quite well known in the world, actually. Oh, Tisha. Oh boy, I understand for sure. Susan liked her class. Sharon trying to be accountable. It's all about accountability. Yeah, own your shit. Actually, I knew a man and he created a club called Oyos, Oyos, and it's Own Your Own Shit Club. And I love that. So Lou O'Neill, if he's ever watching, he always calls president of Oyos, Own Your Own Shit. And I love that. You know why? I always say truth is higher than love, because if you stay in what's true and it's not covered, you can't argue truth. Even if you're wrong, even if you've done something wrong, if you're truthful about it, people can't really argue it. I mean, if you keep doing it over and over and you're using like, oh yeah, sorry, my bad, that's telling. But when you're in your truth, you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to try harder to prove anything. You're just, this is what I am. This is what I do. This is what's happening. You don't have to prove it. So when you can own your own shit and be like, yeah, I messed up on that. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I did that action. I did that. Um, that's enormous. And I have zero tolerance at this point in my life, like scarily zero tolerance for anyone who's not accountable. All I ask is your accountability. I like when people come to the center because I know you're coming to the center because you're trying to learn something about yourself. That tells me automatically you're trying to be accountable for something. You're trying to learn, you're trying to evolve, you're trying to grow. It's those who don't seek therapy, it's those who don't want to read the books or listen to the podcast or go deeper into any sort of modality about learning about themselves, and they continue to have either a victim mindset. I have like a serious problem with that energy. If you try, that's all I care about. That's all I care about. Oh my God. Hey, Sue, how are you? Yes, Susan is asking, is it best to start the day and end the day with a short meditation? There's never a bad time. No, that's not true. Don't do a meditation while you're like driving and closing your eyes. I don't even think if you have a Tesla that self-drives, I don't think you should do that. But it's always great to do. Yeah, start your day. I'm terrible about that I don't start or end my day. Sometimes I do end my day. But I will meditate throughout the day, in the middle of the day, in between sessions. I come home, I just need, and when I mean meditate, I'm talking about I'll give myself 3 minutes of like, okay, breathe, come back to this moment. Is it every day that I do it? Nope. I wish it was, but it's not. I'm either just not that disciplined or yeah, that's got to be what it is. I'm not that disciplined because I could find time to shower every day, I should find time to meditate. So absolutely every day, some sort of meditation. Walking can be meditation. Reading can be a meditation. But I do think the world, we need silence. We just need a few freaking minutes of quiet, and it's dramatically powerful. Let's see. See, Bobby K, you were meditating. See? Hello, ladies. Okay, so good question from Jenny. Jenny is asking, do you ever get overwhelmed by these thoughts? Like outside spirits are putting a lot on you. Are you able to set boundaries, converse, or shut it off? That's a great question. And I'm really, is the word passionate? Emphatic. I think the word is emphatic about, I don't like the Teresa Caputo effect on the world of all of this. And I'm not talking that I don't like Teresa Caputo. I've never met her. I've actually never even seen her show. I don't know anything about her other than a Saturday Night Live skit about her I saw. And apparently she goes into certain places, and she does a reading real quick for somebody, which is not true, because I'm not saying her readings are not good, by the way. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't want to be an idiot. I've never met her, so I have no reference point. What I do know is that the show is set up because you're not in a butcher store, getting meatballs and with a boom mic and a camera with you. So obviously it's a little bit staged. So she always says she's bombarded. I don't get that. I believe we're all bombarded by energy. We're picking up on energy from each other all day long, which includes our thoughts. We are not taught this as a society. So, I don't mean that I'm picking up on all the thoughts of the person standing next to me, but I can feel them. I can feel the way people feel. I can feel thoughts, and I'm sensitive to that. It's my skill. Just like Beyonce can sing really well, this is my skill. I can feel what people are feeling and thinking, not literal data. Like, I don't know, like, oh, they're thinking they hate my shoes, which is what I used to think, a psychic used to think about me every time I was around her. But it's more of a feeling. So we all have this, and yes, I can tune it out. I absolutely. And I think that's incredibly important as a teacher to teach, because a lot of people say, "Oh my gosh, Deborah, I can't stand it. My life is so overwhelming because I have all these thoughts." And I am big into therapy. I am big into learning about how to decipher, because the human mind is so precious and so powerful and so amazing and so unknown, that my interest is preserving the sanity of being human too. So if someone says they're having those type of thoughts, I first refer them to a therapist, because they need to work on their ability to think and shut things off. Once they can do that, and I can help people with that, but I am not a therapist. I'm not a credentialed therapist on that end. So I would send them to someone who can help manage thoughts. But sometimes people come to me saying, my therapist doesn't understand. They're sending me to you. And I love those, because those I know, okay, good. You're working on this with your therapist. Here's my insight on this. Try these techniques. Do this. And there are lots of things to do. Mostly, again, meditation and being aware of what those thoughts. So yes, I can shut it off. No, I'm not overwhelmed by it. And if I am getting overwhelmed by it, like my energy transformation class, that takes a lot on me, because I am tuned in to every person in that class. I know when people stop listening to what's happening in the class. I know when people, I say they checked out. I know when people are really in and taking on someone else's energy. I know all of that. I can feel it in the room. And I'll say to the people listening, oh, you checked out. And they're like, oh my God, I did. Or I'll say, oh, stop, Susan, stop taking on everyone's emotions. No, you don't need to do that. So it's a skill. It is what I do. This is what I love. So I like teaching it. And I think it's really important to make that aware for people, because otherwise you wind up with a very serious psychological problem of constant barrage of thoughts that you can't manage. And that becomes a whole other set of issues. So that's why I don't like the Teresa Caputo concept of her show. I don't know her. Sharon, yes, I'm nailing it this evening. Yes, we all need this, Sharon. We absolutely all need this over and over and over. We need to hear it 100,000 times because I talk about this all the time. When I know better, I teach this, but you don't think that I fly off the handle when I'm angry about something or injustice in my life or certain aspects of my life when they're in disarray. You don't think I'm like, what the go nuts. But I also learn from that because I'm like, wow, look at that. I just did what I tell people not to do. So I always self-refer. I always go back to myself and go, oh my God, Deb, you are totally out of line there. You're totally off the deep end. Or, hey, wow, Deb, I'm so proud of the way you handled that. And that's to me, that's what else are we going to do while we're living? Yeah, can we posture this? Oh my gosh. Oh, Jen, you have been on our minds. Actually, Jen, we all sent you in my class yesterday, you and Emma, so much energy and handing everything up to a higher power, whatever that is, God, universal life force, whatever we want to call it. We did all strangers and Susan, we all just lifted both you, Emma, and your whole family going through everything up. So I read your post about some good news, and we're just holding everybody in that good news light and trying to stay present. You're in a long pattern of trauma, so yeah, the best thing you could do right now is to stay present. Of okay, I'm hearing what the doctors say. I'm listening. I'm on point. I can't catastrophize the future. I can't fix the past, and just stay where you are with each and every moment, which is way easier said than done. Dorothy, I can't wait for you to go to Carol. I cannot wait to hear about it. I want to make sure you do. Jennifer, you know what? I actually going back to you too. I mentioned to the group that this group wasn't the group for you. That's the universe again is smarter than. On that little note, the next group when you do it, that will be the group you're supposed to be in. No doubt about it, because this was not it. This was not the group for you. The themes of what comes to light, there's always a thread of similarity in each individual ETA group, and your theme did not come up. That yours is so different, and I know that the next group will have a big piece of your theme. So the next group that you join, whenever that is, if you do it, which means you don't have to. You've got enough on your plate. But it really, truly wasn't time, Jen. I'm telling you, it's one of those things that it's silly for me to say the universe is smarter being with the situation you're in. But at the same time, as far as that small nugget of your life, it wasn't time. That's for sure. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, Greg is always saying to hit the like icon, but I think he means the thumbs up button. So if you guys hit thumbs up, if you haven't already, that does something. It makes me look cooler in the YouTube world. I don't really know, to be honest, what it does. It's something about how many people are on and how many thumbs up you get, so do it. Wait, there's something on my screen. Okay. All right, next question. Janine, this is not a dumb question. Janine is asking, how can our deceased loved ones be with not only me, but someone else at the same time? This is a great question. We here, humans in physical form, operate on a principle of locality, which means you can find us, that we have a location. The location known as Deborah is right here. The location known as Janine is yourself. We all have a place that we can physically see and experience. But what we're not seeing is that there's also that part of me, kind of going back to the question I said before, of if I'm thinking about my friend in California, there's a part of me, my thought form, energy, whatever you want to call it, that goes to them out there in California. And so I'm with them. When we're in human form, we don't really, really realize that we are here and with them. We can all right now think of somewhere in the deep abysses of the ocean, there's a gigantic blue whale swimming right as I'm speaking and right as you're tuning in this very second, there is that whale. There's thousands actually. We don't think that way. So somewhere out there, now that I've mentioned the blue whale and an abyss in the ocean, we've connected with it because we became aware of it. Just like there's a butterfly somewhere in Peru right now, as you're hearing my voice, that's existing out on the planet. And I used to think of this as a kid all the time. Like, oh my gosh, right now as I'm existing, there are tribal people in Africa, and there are tribes in Peru and the rainforest that are existing right as we speak right now. We never think of this, but it's happening right now. So now our mind is with them, or our consciousness, our awareness is with them, and they can feel us in their space. Just like I explained before. Oh my God, I was thinking of you before. Yeah, it's because you showed up in your energy field. What's even better is when we no longer have location, when we're not in a body and we are just energy itself or thought forms itself. That's everywhere all the time. That's universal life force, chi, ki in Japanese. So they can be with everyone that they're consciously aware of and those that you're aware of. So if you had a parent who passed and you had a child they never met, if they're with you with consciousness, they know that you are conscious of your child, therefore they're with your child as well. So it has to do with the fact it's quantum physics is what it really truly is. There's a lot of great podcasts, and of course I can't think of any of them that talk about this, but this is why I realized my whole life I've loved physics, quantum physics, Albert Einstein, the theory of light, understanding relativity, what's matter, what's energy, because it all fits into all of this. And that's where I do feel I'm different. Certainly not the only one that does what I do. But I'm not about like, oh, I see dead people. Oh, there's a creepy ghost in your house. That is not me. I hate that shit. To be totally honest, I hate that because that's to me, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying to me, I don't relate to that. I relate to how does this apply to the world at large? I like provable facts. I like data. I like science behind things, and there's tons of science behind everything I do. And it's only growing every single day. So, very much to do. I could go into particle and wave theory. I could go into 0 point and non-locality. I mean, there's so much more to this question, but I think I gave you the most simple explanation. And if not, you can tell me below if you need more on that. All of you can. It's fascinating. I get so excited about this. Don't forget Facebook, people. Join me on YouTube because that's where it's all happening. That's it sounds so stupid. That's where it's all happening. It's where it's at, YouTube. I like science and I'm a dork. I am. I'm really dorky. I'm dorky and boring. I don't like to leave my house. I love being snuggled on my couch or my bed. And that's what I like to do. Oh, okay. Oh, Genia or Genia. I hate when I say someone's name incorrectly. But Genia is asking, is there something wrong with you when you don't feel your loved one, or if there's something I'm doing wrong? I never feel them. It's sad. And I believe in it so much. Oh my God. I hear this every day. And I promise you, assure you wholeheartedly 100% that it's actually more normal to not feel them than it is to feel them. And you're not doing anything wrong, but being human. This is really important because I get people who come to me and they'll say exactly what you're saying. I don't feel them around. I don't understand. I'm not getting signs. And then they'll say, my sister or my sibling or this one doesn't believe in this stuff and they feel them around there with them all the time. And that's annoying. So I always tell people, please be mindful of when you're around someone who's grieving. Be mindful. Don't say to them, oh my God, I felt my dad right away. He was right by my side. Oh my God, I had so many dreams about them. Because that's your experience. That is not everyone's experience. And then what happens with that dialogue is everybody thinks there's something wrong with me, or they go into, oh my God, they're upset with me. Or people come to me and they say, oh my God, I just want to know that they've crossed over and they're fine because they can't come with me and I'm scared that they're stuck. I'm scared that they're not around. That's not what's happening at all. I can assure you. I always say they've got the good spot. They're all fine. They all cross over. There's no problem. Nobody has issues crossing over. That is a human concept. And I constantly say it's a human concept that tries to translate into energy or spirit conceptual realm. And the two are not the same. Human realm and spirit realm are not the same thing. So energy and matter are not the same thing. Matter is energy expressed. Same thing with spirit and being human. So no, there's nothing you're doing wrong. You're sad. Grief will absolutely stop us from feeling them around. But there's no possible way I can tell you or anyone else, oh, don't worry about it. They're fine. Everything's good. They're with you because you're still sad. When we're here in the physical, we want them to be here in the physical with us. And I know that consciousness exists on the other side. I know they're fine. That doesn't mean I'm going to be okay when someone close to me who I love and care about passes. That doesn't matter. I'm going to be sad because my human self is missing their human self. And so it's normal. And in fact, I really find it most important to grieve and to not feel them first, because that's showing that you're going through the grieving process, and that is part of it. It's actually more healthy. When I hear people say, "Oh my gosh, I knew my dad was there right away," I worry sometimes, not all the time, because that happens too. So I'm not taking that away from people that happens to, but the norm is more that you don't feel them. And I'll tell you this right now, I don't feel my own loved ones. I feel your loved ones, like everyone watching, other people, clients. I feel them way more than I feel my own, because when I do think I have my own people here, I instantly go all human and go, oh my God, did I just make that up? Is that them? Do you think it's them? I don't know if it's them. Am I crazy? I think it's a coincidence. I become human and I do that. So don't worry. I promise you they're here. And just for now, it's okay to be sad. You being sad doesn't make them sad. It doesn't hold them back. It doesn't stop them from being exactly where they are. It doesn't stop them from being by your side. And one day you will have that wink. I always call them these little winks. You'll have that sensation that, oh my gosh, wow, I do know they're here. And it's still, you're going to hate this and love this, it still won't be enough, because I can sit with someone for 8 hours straight and give 8 hours of absolute proof that their loved one is with them and okay. And as soon as we leave, instantly they remember, they go back to, yeah, that helps, that they're happy, people are relieved, but time passes and all of a sudden they miss them because we're human and that's what's normal. So I'm really glad you asked that question, because it needs to be addressed. We also have to be more mindful of what we say to people as far as like, oh, I feel them right away. I have dreams all the time. Most people do not. So remember that. As part of being empathetic humans and there for one another, it's important. Okay. Sherry asks, have I ever been somewhere and spirit just comes to you where you need to tell that person something? Earlier on, yes, I paid attention to it and I would deliver messages like that out of the blue. Since I've done this, I've come and done a 180, and I don't feel that that's ethical to do. I don't think that's right to just kind of blurt something out to someone. This is particularly with strangers. I don't do it. I would never walk up to someone and say, hey, by the way, so-and-so's with you. I just don't, because it's not fair for me to think that someone wants a message, needs a message, or believes in this. Some people are actually scared of this. Some people don't understand this. And I think I get annoyed when I'm approached by someone in the mall that they want to, have me come to their Bible study class. I get annoyed with that because that's not what I believe. And I have complete and total respect for all faiths and traditions and religions, but I don't think it's right to kind of push that onto anybody at all. So I don't do the same. And I look at it as exactly the same, that it's just as obnoxious. I don't believe what they believe. They believe they're doing the right thing by talking to me about, coming to Bible study. They're coming from a good place, but I don't believe it. So I'm annoyed. So I don't want to do the same thing to somebody else. But if it's also someone who I know wants a reading, yeah, then I would. A friend, absolutely. Although I get less information on friends because I'm focused in on our human relationship than the other side. And my true friends never ask me for anything reading wise ever. Um, and then if I'm in a class or someone's coming to me and they know what I do, that's a little different. So it depends on the scenario, but mostly no, I don't. Also, it's exhausting. To be totally honest, it's completely exhausting to do what I do emotionally, mentally. Um, I also put added incredible amounts of pressure on myself that I have to get everything right. And I want the person in front of me leaving with so much proof. And I feel like I'm always, every time I'm at that bat, I have to hit a home run, which is impossible. And for the first time in ever that I can remember, in the 18 years that I've really been doing this, for the first time this month, I actually told someone I can't read them. And my heart is still aching the fact that I can't. I think, and it was a parent who had a child who passed, which is, those are the people I absolutely want to do this for the most, because I feel they need the most proof of everyone. Um, and I knew I couldn't. I knew that I couldn't, and that no matter what I did or said would never be right, never be good enough, never satisfy this person. And they've obviously never had the experience. I came highly recommended, which I feel so grateful about. I read them, started reading them. They said I was totally wrong. No, 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 everything was wrong. And I believe them. I'm not going to say, oh, no, I'm right. You guys know me. Sometimes I do that. But if you're telling me I'm very off and I'm not getting that, no, 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 I'm right feeling, then I'd stop the reading and I say, let's do this again. Let's come back in a couple of weeks or months and we'll try again. And then as I thought about it, I thought, I don't think I could do this person. And for the first time, I didn't, Michelle actually did, wrote to them and said that I'm not going to do the reading. So that's still bothering me because I want to help them. But I also think that I think my ego is so engaged that I would do a disservice because I want to prove it to them. And I don't know if I want to prove it to them for their own healing or I want to prove it to them because they kind of made accusations that I was being lame. So, which is fine. I totally understand. Your child is passed and you're coming from a very hurt, awful place that I don't ever want to imagine and I don't ever want to identify with. So I totally think of that side. But then in this case, I thought of my side and I thought, I am going to be too stressed trying to hit this home run and it probably won't happen anyway for me, that uh, I needed to say no. And that's the first time. And it still bothers me. It literally still bothers me. But maybe someone else, maybe they will get, I know they will. I know they'll get their answers from someone else. It just wasn't going to be through me. Okay. I like this name, Spyrox, but X, whatever. Okay. What's it like when you do a reading over the phone versus in person? And does the spirit come in stronger one way over the other? I very, very, very rarely do phone appointments anymore. I have a clientele out in California, and when they call, obviously I used to go out there much more frequently, and I haven't been able to in the last few years. Um, so when they call, I will do a phone reading for them, but I don't do phone readings for anyone else. And it is super, super rare if I make an exception to that, which is super rare because of this. I hate talking on the phone. And anyone who knows me, where is my phone? Anyone who knows me knows how much I hate it. My friends, it's like a joke, but not a joke because it's real. Don't call me. Like, unless there's a serious emergency, you can't call me. I don't want to talk on the phone. I get drained. I don't want to hold it in my ear. I don't want it on speaker. I feel like I'll either speak to someone in person or we can just text. So maybe it's a character flaw. Maybe I'm a big a-hole about it. I don't really know. It's just the way I feel and I don't do it. So I just don't like being on the phone. That's the other reason why. So the only thing I do like about it is many years ago, I was on the radio up in Albany, which I will be on soon, by the way. And I'm going to be up in Albany next week, actually, October 16th at the Polish American Community Center. and they still have tickets available, so you can go check them out. It's Wednesday night, October 16th. Um, but they did, the news crew did a story on me, and they watched me do readings over the phone. And in that particular reading, I said something about your grandmother's laughing about the chapstick by your foot. I'm totally paraphrasing it. It was something about chapstick by her foot. And she was like freaking out. She was like on the phone, on the radio, going, "Oh my God, about 5 minutes ago, I just dropped my chapstick on the floor in my car and I can't get it because I was driving and she didn't reach it. It was like by the gas pedal type of thing." And the cool thing about that was people sometimes think, oh, they're just reading your body language and people are just reading your whatever. And I say, okay, what happened and then? How did I know that? How did I get that information that chapstick was just at your feet? And when you're in a car, and I don't even know you're in a freaking car. So that's the stuff I like through the phone that people absolutely know there's no way that I could do this by reading their personality or their facial expressions. So does it come in stronger one way or the other? Nope. Comes in very same. I just prefer face-to-face because I hate the phone. And same thing with on radio. I mean, people are calling in through the phone and I do it all the time. So, and I'm going to be up on WGNA soon. So you guys have to start listening, tuning in, because that's happening this week. Okay. Deb, thank you so much. Deb is saying that everyone should take energy transformation awareness. Deb just totally did the 6-week class. It's incredibly intense. Let's see. Oh yeah, with energy transformation awareness, I do not allow you to take the class with a family member or friend. You must come alone. I do not want family or friends to sign up together. I don't allow it because it changes the dynamic, and I want you to be 100% yourself and not who someone else in your life thinks you are, because that dramatically helps the dynamic of the room. So thanks, Greg, for reminding me to say that. Okay, let's see. Oh, look at all you ETA people here. I love it. My next ETA, Sue, is in the spring, like March, April, depending on the weather. Do people pick on you because I don't want to leave the house? No, my closest friends know. They still ask me to go places, and I'm like, yeah, I probably won't, but they still ask me, which is really nice. When I write on Facebook, like, you know how Happy Buddha Yoga, which was a great yoga studio in Goshen, so there's a plug for them because I love and adore Charlene so much. They have like a lot of really cool events, and I'll click like I'm going or interested. And when my friends see that on Facebook, they're like, "Are you really going? I'll go with you. Are you going? Who are you going with?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I'm going. I just click it because I want to be reminded about it in case I want to go. But I just like being home. I love the house. I love my house. I love my house energy." Oh my gosh, Gina, I'm saying Genia. It's just Gina. So it's Gina. So thank you for correcting me on that. Hello, Ramona and Pam. Let's see. Can our angels see what's to come? Now, I don't do so much with the angelic realm. It's not because I don't believe in it. It's because I don't know enough about it. And so therefore I don't really pray to angels, although I've experienced them in meditations. But I'm just not versed on them. I don't know enough about them. So I don't that's not like my realm, literally, but yes, absolutely. Angels see what's to come for sure. I mean, they're part of kind of like a hierarchy of consciousness, of energy. In my opinion, my interpretation of angels are that they are the hierarchy of different levels of states of consciousness within ourselves, much like gods and goddesses in the Hindu tradition are explained. So there's like a god of wind and a god of grain and a goddess of this and a god of that in Hindu mythology. I feel like angels are the same thing. There's an angel for healing, there's an angel for protection, there's an angel for wealth and abundance, and I feel like it's the same version. And in both cases, I feel that they're really consciousness. There's a consciousness for wealth, there's a consciousness for change, there's a consciousness for this, that, and the other thing. So that's how I interpret angels. but I understand that's not how they're typically interpreted. And I don't know enough about each individual angel. I did see many years ago, probably like 15 years ago, my friend and I did a workshop in Cornwall, New York, at a place that's no longer in business, about angels. And we did a meditation, and I saw this big, giant um, angel in the meditation. And long story short, they said, "Oh, that's Metatron. That's Metatron." And honestly, I thought Metatron was like a transformer, right? Like, what's their names? What's the one, Optimus Prime or something like that? I literally thought Metatron was a literal transformer. So I was like, "What?" No, I didn't see a transformer. I saw an angel. And they were like, "No, that's really an angel of, I think that was an angel of addiction and drugs and alcohol." And I fortunately don't have that. Um, but it was something to do with addiction is what I remember from that meditation. Okay. So spirit guides. A couple of you are asking about spirit guides. Teresa and Susan, who are spirit guides? How do I connect with spirit guides? I so need to record a CD, how to connect with your spirit guides. So like angels, I feel that spirit guides are more of a personal experience. It's not my realm. I don't sit with someone and say, "Oh, your spirit guide is so and so." I don't ever do that. Every once in a while, I'm talking once or twice a year, um, I'll have somebody who will come and sit down, and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, like I see St. Francis all around you." But that's very much not typical, but sometimes I will. And I do feel like you have to go through your own meditation experience to meet your spirit guides. And I think there's a lot of literature out there that makes spirit guides always seem so cool. Like, "Oh, I have this Native American and I have this, Viking," and they're always so cool, right? And I did a meditation for a spirit guide many years ago, and in the meditation it says, you see a house in front of you, and there's a door, go up to the door, and as soon as you open the door, you're going to see one of your spirit guides. And I was so excited because I was really into this meditation, very, very deep. And I thought, "Oh, I'm going to see my brother Christopher, who passed." That's what I thought. I'm like, he must be my spirit guide, right? He's my brother. He should be my spirit guide. And I opened the door, and it was my previously alcoholic neighbor, my neighbor's father, who was an alcoholic. Like, kind of mean, like, not like we loved him because that was Mr. So and so, but like he was rough and scary. And he was behind the door. And I remember being in the meditation, like, "Are you kidding me? Like, why are you Mr. So and so a freaking spirit guide to me?" Maybe that's why Metatron showed up. And I'm just making the connection now. That's why. But so spirit guides could be not cool people. It could be people that you didn't expect, in my opinion. That's been my experience. But again, I'm also not a spirit guide expert by any means. Bobby K, why does it look like daylight in your windows back of me? So I have a green screen. If you go on Facebook, you can see that there's a green screen behind me. And this is actually a picture of what we call the library in our house. And we keep meaning to change it, but we forgot how to change the background. So I think, look, I could show you what's behind me. Maybe not. One moment, please. I thought I could change the screen behind me. Let's see. Oh, see? Oh, that's that's really where I'm sitting. Isn't that exciting? That's what everyone on Facebook sees. But you are going to see me here. What's this? Oh, that's my house. That's my house at night. How did that get there? And how come that's showing up there? Oh, great. Now I can't move it. Hold on. That's our house lit up at night. I showed it last week. How do I get back? Hold on. There we go. So that's why it looks like it's daylight. And we have to change the picture in the background. We just forget every week. Jamie is saying, yes, you have to do ETA. I wish I could do my energy transformation awareness every single day. Well, no, that would be exhausting. Every single weekend. I wish I could just do that. That's what I want to do, because it's eye-opening, and it's something that keeps on growing and going with people. So you have 6 weeks. It's so intense. It's powerful. You cry, you laugh. It's deep. It's like, oh shit. And it's like, oh, no wonder. I mean, there's lots of stuff going on. And it keeps going and going and going. So I like it. So Susan, yes, that answers your question. Can a family member be a spirit guide? Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Deborah. I talked to you once back when you were on Elvis Duran Morning Show. That's why I was wondering. I wish you still did Intuitive Tuesdays. I have never been on the Elvis Duran Morning Show, but if anybody has a connection with anybody at Elvis Duran Morning Show, please give me a shout out, because it's one of my life dreams to be on the Elvis Duran Morning Show. So I want to do that. But Intuitive Tuesdays, I was on Brian and Chrissy's show on Intuitive Tuesdays, and now I'm going back to be with them. I am going to be back very, 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 very soon. Hint, hint. And so you can call into that radio station to have a chance for a little reading. So that's huge. Let's see. Melanie, yes, you absolutely do. I would love for you to be in an ETA class, Melanie. It's been years. And so many of you that have been working with me for years or have come for readings or workshops and things like that. I love when I see some people like finally show up or register for other workshops, because I'm like, I really know some stuff and this is really going to help you. So, Melanie, when it's time, it'll be time in the spring for sure. Okay. Brian and Chrissy. Yeah. So yeah, Brian and Chrissy, I'm going to be with them. I'm going to be with them in like 12 hours. Be with them. I'm going to be with them so soon. So we're going to discuss lots coming up at the Cohoes Music Hall in Albany in November. But before I'm there, I'm at the Polish American Community Center, also in Albany, October 16th. So next week, literally next week. And oh my God, Caitlin, it's your first gallery? It's so exciting. What else? I have a newspaper article coming out in the Albany Times soon. So all of my Albany people, when you see it, could you please hold a copy for me? Because I don't know if I'm gonna get my hands on a copy. So I think it's coming out like towards the end of this month. And it's the 20 things you didn't know about me in the Times, Albany Times Union. Is that what the name of the paper is? I can't remember right now. And that was really fun to do. So it's 20 things you didn't know about me. So maybe you will know some of them. I don't know. We'll see. I have so much interesting stuff to talk about. Not really. Missy, I understand. You don't like to leave the house. I get it. I do some workshops online through Zoom, like very much like this. So you can attend some workshops like that. Meditation, you can attend that way. And I can't do ETA that way, my energy transformation awareness. You have to be in the group right there. So that's the one that I won't do that for. But yeah, there's lots of stuff. And then come with someone else. When you do, it's rarely alone, so come with someone else. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to be at the gallery. So, all right, let's transition now because it's late. And it's time to just do some pranayama, breathing. And this is just a breath exercise. And I will tailor this to bring in calm energy, because most of you, if not all of you, are going to sleep soon after this. So we don't want to do a breath work that actually brings a lot of energy to the body. We actually want to start quieting the body. So don't forget, thumbs up. Tomorrow my psychometry class meets. Goodwill Firehouse is on Friday with 13 tickets left. Up in Albany next week. Hospice event at the 24th, I believe it is, on a Wednesday at Anthony's Pier 9 for hospice. So there's a lot of events going on this month. So make sure you catch one of them. So also my book club. Oh my God, there's so much in the next like 4 weeks. So tune into all of it. So what we're going to do now, and please don't jump off at this point. If you have stayed on for this long, I feel like I could have just done the whole show about an hour and a half ago and just have done this, and that would have been great for you guys. So don't skip out on this part for yourselves. So, what I want you to do is close your eyes. And if you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, just have a soft gaze looking downward or fixed on something that is calming to you. And I want you to take a really nice, deep, and slow cleansing breath in through your nose. And then exhale out your mouth. And again, take a really nice, even deeper breath in through your nose. And at the top of that breath, I want you to hold your breath for a count of 2 and then exhale out your mouth. So breathe, inhale through your nose, hold it at the top, and then exhale. Continue to repeat that breathing. Deep breath in. Try to bring that breath down into your belly, meaning when you breathe in, try to push the stomach out or expand the stomach. And it feels weird at first because we breathe shallow breaths into our chest, into our lungs just a little bit. But right now we are practicing deep cleansing breaths. When you breathe in, you expand your stomach. When you exhale, you contract the stomach and pull the belly button back towards your spine. Inhale, expand the stomach, push the belly button out, hold at the top, and exhale through your mouth. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. Contract. Just for a moment, imagine as you're breathing and only focusing on my voice and your breath. I want you to imagine that any tension or stress from today just melts away. Literally visualize and imagine stress, anxiety, dysfunction, negative self thoughts, stressful moments. Just imagine it either dripping and drooping off of you, or sometimes I see it like ashes and they're blowing off of me. But just using your imagination, visualize and imagine all of today's stress is just pulled away from you. Imagine it falls to the floor and it gets pulled down into Mother Earth, and Mother Earth will recycle that energy into a positive result. So imagine like Mother Earth herself, that earth element, is literally pulling this junk and stuff out of you. Continue to breathe. Notice already that your mind and body are starting to slow down, becoming more and more calm and relaxed. Starting at the top of your head, imagine the top of your head and your forehead are relaxed, and your temples are relaxed, your eyebrows, your eyes are relaxed, your cheeks, your mouth, your tongue, your teeth are relaxed, your ears are relaxed. The very back of your skull, where your neck and your skull meet, is relaxing. Relax your jaw, your lips, your nose. Imagine all this relaxation going down your neck and throat, and it's moving towards your scapula, and your collarbone are relaxing, your shoulders. Visualize and imagine all of this relaxation going down your arms, through your biceps and triceps, through your elbows, through your forearms, down through your wrists, into your hands, and out your fingertips. Imagine all of that stress just drips out of your fingertips, gets pulled down to Mother Earth, Relax your chest, your upper back, your rib cage, your diaphragm, your mid back. Continue to breathe as you get deeper into relaxation. Relax your solar plexus, your lower back, your abdomen. Relax your pelvis and hips, butt, your quads, your thighs, your hamstrings. Relax your knees, your calves and shins, and imagine all this relaxation moves through your ankles, into your feet, and out to your toes. And imagine that anything that no longer serves your body is just pushed and pulled out of your body in this moment. Continue to focus in on your breath and your calm and quiet self. Continue to focus in on your breathing and just get deeper and deeper into relaxation and quiet and calm. Anytime any thoughts from your thinking mind pop up, notice them and return back to your breath and your relaxation. You can choose to just go right into a relaxed and stay in this space. I highly recommend you doing so. This is a great practice right before you go to bed. Continue to visualize this relaxation waves just going through your body. And everything that no longer serves you mentally, emotionally, physically in this moment just leaves you. It's a good time to go right to sleep. If you can, continue with this breathing. If there's still some things you need to do before you go to bed, you can bring your attention back to this practice right before you go to bed. It will also be uploaded again by that point, and you can listen back to this part of tonight's show. So I'll leave all of you in this quiet and calm, and thank you all so much. Have a really good night. Bye.